Here we go into our first losers round match. Of today's tournament. Let's take a look at the ships. First off, for Moonshine Moth Mixup, we have the Queen Coran's Revenge. Galleon with left side Gatling dual watcher, right side dual watcher, and a rear flare gun. Their ally is the Moonlight Moth. Junker with left side Banshee mine launcher, front Artemis with left side Gatling secondary Artemis. Their opponents, Ryders and Friends, bringing the Lupus Astartes, Gatling Artemis Pyramidion with left side Banshee and flare gun, and finally the Mine Katzen Gatling Mortar Pyramidion with a Banshee and a flare gun. So neither team wanting to play at range. This match, looking at the Galleon's build, first looked a little bit questionable. The quad watch a Galleon, typically relegated to noob pilots and pub lobbies, because the way you can counter the quad watch a Galleon is simply by reversing away from them, and for the most part they'll never be able to catch you. However, since Ryder and Friends have decided to bring this dual Pyramidion composition, they actually are forcing themselves to close the distance onto Red's position, which means Queen Coran's Revenge is going to get all the opportunity to use those watches that they want, and Blue only has the one Artemis to serve as disruption, with the other Pyramidion opting to be play Gap Mortar. So now Mine Katzen is moving in, getting dual focused. Lupus Astartes is just not going to be able to do enough damage. I think this Pyramidion is just going to get evaporated, blown out of the water. Gatling takes out their armor, and boom, easy dual focus. Lupus Astartes move again, but once again, Gatling Artemis is not going to do a lot of damage. It's a slower control style of build. So they're gonna back away. I mean, the one saving grace here is that Galleon doesn't have a long range gun, so Ryders have bungled this first engagement. However, they're only going to give up 1 point, and they get it back up in relative safety. And both the Galleon and the Junker are slower ships, so they're not going to be great at chasing. However, Moonshine Moth Mix-Up probably just moving forward here to maintain a closer proximity to Blue's spawn. And the newly spawned Mine Katzen. Now you see the Gatling Mortar Pyramidion is trying to get an angle in the front of the Galleon, but Queen Coran's Revenge has actually been slightly adjusting their position to keep the Mine Katzen in arc, knowing that the Gatling Mortar is the ship that has to get into extreme close range to do any damage. They're really the biggest threat, and already Moonlight Moth dual Gatling focus on the Mine Katzen, but Lupus Astartes moving in to provide support for their ally. They're going to connect here. Boom, big hit on Queen Coran's Revenge, but they're dying. They're getting destroyed by the Moonlight Moth's dual Artemis. Look at how much damage the uncontested Junker is doing. These Pyramidions are just getting torn apart. Ryders can't put anything together. They did get a little bit of damage on Queen Coran's Revenge. However, the mortar is currently down, destroyed by the looks like Gentleman Marauder on the Moonlight Moth. So once again, just too much disruption for the Pyramidion be able to handle, and this time they might not even escape. Artemis connection on unarmored hull. One more Artemis shot will finish them off. However, it does look like they're going to be able to get behind terrain, which is maybe not to their benefit. They really need all the health that they can get to be able to close the distance on their opponents. A heavily damaged Pyramidion is not worth a whole lot. Ryder and Friends going to be backing off here. Have to figure out a new strategy. Also, I don't know if this is a great map for the dual Pyramidian strat either, just because there's so much open air for them to take these Artemis shots, get their components knocked out. If it was a more lower visibility map, like maybe Derelict or Canyon Ambush, Northern Fjords even, the Pyramidians could have more opportunities for tactical plays. But on Water Hazard, there's just so much visibility in all angles, and the Junker is going to be able to react very quickly with that close turning acceleration, or the high turning acceleration. It'll be tough for Riders to get the drop on their opponents. Riders currently locked down. Also, everyone in the chat, let's have a warm welcome back for Luosi, currently crewing the Pyramidian. Saving computers everywhere from the scourge of proprietary software, choosing to grace us again with his presence. Riders could maybe attempt to get underneath Triple M's setup and hydrogen up. I'll take a look at piloting tools. Both Pyramidians do have hydrogen. That might be their only real option. They're slowly moving forward. At this extreme low altitude, Artemis was probably going to be able to hit them, but they'll at least be below the watch's downward gun arcs. However, dual Gatling already hitting the Mine Katzen. Taking a look here at the ammunition type. Looks like we actually have Lesmok for that Galleon. With regular ammo. Looks like both ships have access to Lesmok Gatling, so a little bit more range. With Mine Katzen now, here we go. Riders executing the play. Lupus Astartes has moved in. Mine Katzen very low, below the Galleon's position, but they need a hydrogen up. Uh-oh. Oh no, did they hydrogen and hit the bridge on the way up? that's not good. Gatling from the Junker, Mine Katzen going for the Moonlight Moth. This is not going to work out either. Pyramidians going to lose their armor first, unless they're Astartes is able to get a disable on the Gatling gun, and they're not. Moonlight Moth able to pick off the Mine Katzen with ease, and the Astartes no hull armor. Moving forward, now backing off, trying to stay above the Galleon. They're afraid of those watches, but now they're just exposing themselves to a dual focus. I think Pyramidian's only chance there was to knock out the Moonlight Moth's balloon with a ram. And now they're just giving their opponents free damage and giving them the opportunity to rebuild. Moonlight Moth not taking any damage in that engagement. Lupus Astartes getting ground down. I think this is probably going to be it. Just one Artemis shot needs to connect. Finish off this Pyramidian. And down they go. Watcher from the Queen Kurwan's Revenge, dealing the finishing blow. Mine Katzen already spawned in. Looks like no visibility, so Moonshine Moth Mixup might not be aware of Pyramidian's location. However, pushing forward anyways. They're feeling Triple M feeling much more confident in this second match. Flare gun's coming out as well, but Mine Katzen is already behind hard cover. Lupus Astartes spawns behind red team at the center map blue spawn. However, this means Mine Katzen gonna have to get away, gonna have to meet up with their ally, and hopefully they're not gonna lose any engines to the Artemis from the Moonlight Moth. That is the one thing that could stop them here. However, I think they are going to be able to make it, though. Looks like they're not even going behind cover. They're just They're going somewhere. They might be going for the Galleon. Lupus Astartes back in the fight. Moonlight Moth. Look at that vertical acceleration on the Junker. Might be seeing a dual focus, but Mein Katzen is trying to flank the Galleon. They're not in this fight. So Queen Curwen's Revenge here is going to bum rush to Lupus Astartes. Watch a barrage coming out. Both front guns of the Astartes are down. Mein Katzen, what are you going to do, Mein Katzen? They've lost their Gatling gun, so they're effectively neutralized. Just not quite in position to help their ally. The coordination from Ryder and friends, I feel like they definitely do have a build disadvantage, so that's already a big problem, but they also just don't have the team coordination right now. Lupus Astartes forces the Junker away, but Queen Curwen's Revenge still doing big damage to the Mein Katzen. However, with Moonlight Moth ducked down, this could be the opportunity Blue Team needs to finish off this Galleon. Queen Curwen's Revenge currently at half health. Lupus Astartes, Mein Katzen needs to do something. They're just getting picked apart at range. They need to move forward and help their ally kill this Galleon. Because I don't think Lupus Astartes is going to be able to do it with just the Artemis, so they're going for a ram. They're flying underneath. I think that, I'm not sure, did they miss? I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but they're now currently underneath the Galleon. They have a rear angle, so this is good for the Astartes. But Mein Katzen is getting destroyed in the background. And down they go. That's 5 points for Moonshine Moth Mixup. Strong performance from them on Water Hazard. Riders and friends. Maybe take this build back to the lab or bring it out on a more close quarters map.